In this lecture, we'll learn about the 3 different types of arc tools and how or when to use them. So the 3 tools are the 3-point arc, the center point arc, and the tangent arc. So I've started a new design in Fusion, and as you see, I've already input some sketches, and I'm going to use these to aid me in demonstrating how these tools work. So first of all, let's come up to the top. We're in sketch mode. Let's come under create, come under arc. There we have the 3 tools available to us there. Now notice there is not a shortcut for any of the arc tools. If you want to add a shortcut, you can do so by left clicking on the 3 dots here and then going change keyboard shortcut, and you can put any shortcut that you want in here and then press OK. So the first tool we'll start with is the 3-point arc. If I select this, and again we've got our sketch palette which is docked on the right, and there we have the center point, the 3-point, and the tangent. I'm going to put that back over to the right hand side. So let's start with this 3-point arc then. So here we need to define 3 points. Okay, the first is the starting point. We'll go left click once here, and then we need to place the end point of the arc. Okay, so we've got our end point in place, and then when we move the mouse now, we'll then see the arc beginning to form. So typically here we would snap onto an existing geometry or perhaps an ideal location on the grid. We bring the arc in like this, we can see that the arc becomes tangential to the 2 lines, the horizontal and the vertical. So it essentially forms a fillet, but in this case I'm just going to explode that slightly. I'll bring it up to this point here. And there we have our 3-point arc. So 3 points, the start, the end, and then the final snapping position. Let's now take a look at the center point arc. I'm going to come over to the palette, select the center point arc. This is very straightforward to use. So the very first click that we do is the location of the center of this arc. So we're putting in the center point, which in this case, I'm going to use this sketch. I'm going to select the center of my cross there. And then the second click identifies the beginning of the arc. So let's say I want my arc to start in this position here. Left click once. And then you'll see that as we move the mouse around, the radius is fixed as per the distance which we have defined here. And as we bring the arc around, we can then either snap on or put in an appropriate angle. So I'm going to snap on to here. There we go. And there's our 3-point center arc. Let's do that one more time then. Let's select the center. Let's bring that out slightly. We'll snap out here. And we can draw that around. And yeah, perhaps we can end it in roughly the same location like so. And that's how we use the center point arc tool. And the last arc tool I want to demonstrate is the tangent arc. Now this is really useful for when we want that tangential constraint at the start of the arc. So if I demonstrate this by starting our arc here, so we're coming off of a curve, we start our arc here, and as we move the mouse we can see that wherever we bring that endpoint of the arc, it will always be tangential at the starting point with this arc here. So let's say my ending point is here, snap on there, got our arc in place, and we see that it's input a tangential constraint there. So we've got a tangential joint between this arc and the one that we created. Now one thing to keep in mind here with the tangent arc is that it will only be tangent with the initial geometry and not with the final geometry. So as we see here, this joint here is not tangential, let's say with this vertical line here or the horizontal line. So just something that we need to understand when we're using the tangential arc. And I want to show you one quick tip as well, which is actually under the line tool. So let's say, for example, I draw a line, I'm just going to snap onto the grid, go 40 mil. And now I'm still in the line tool, right? But from here, I can actually draw an arc by coming to the end point of this first line here and holding down the left mouse button. And with the left mouse button held down, if I draw out what should be a line, it actually becomes an arc. And that's a really handy tool for when we're doing a lot of sketching and we're in need of tangential arcs coming off of existing entities. We can just quite simply hold down the left mouse button and continue to draw arcs like so. Okay, so those are the 3 arc tools, very straightforward to use. The most commonly used one is the 3-point arc, but equally the center point arc and the tangential arc are quite commonly used depending on what geometries that you're working with. But we'll be for sure using these tools throughout the remainder of this course. And I'll see you in the next lecture.